Hey, Walt here from waltinpa.com with another video in the woods. Over the last couple of videos I've done scouting videos, checking out different areas, and my antlerless tags finally arrived, so I decided to hit the woods and actually, give hunting a try. It's my first time doing this. I've been in this particular tree for about 3 hours now. I got to the woods I think I pulled up into the parking area at about 4:30, 4:45. I got changed, grabbed my tree stand and headed on in. I'm not in any of the areas that I scouted previously, which is probably a big mistake. But I got a tip that I should go back to the east side of the lake. I've been spending a lot of time on the west side, scouting that out. When I first started scouting this general area, I was looking at the east side of the lake, and one of the things that I'm finding here is that there's virtually no oak trees. I can't find any. All I can find are walnuts, and I was really struggling with determining where the food source was and where the potential bedding area was. So I got kind of stressed out and annoyed by that whole thing, spending so much time looking around and not being able to find anything. So it was recommended that I bounce over to the west side. There I started seeing a lot of acorns. I started seeing deer trail in and out of the woods. It was looking good. So I scouted out an area. I selected an area with a little bit of help, and right before my antlerless tags arrived, I got a tip that I should go back to the east side of the lake and look in this one particular area, which is where I am now. And I did that on Sunday. I had time to either rescout the area that I was looking at on the west side of the lake, because it was brought to my attention that the tree that I was planning on going up may have been dead. I didn't look really far up into the tree. I just kind of looked at how far up I was going to be going. So it was either go back out and check that tree or look at this side of the lake on Sunday. I couldn't do both. I just didn't have time, so I headed over here on Sunday, and I didn't get to do a whole lot of scouting, very little, maybe an hour and a half, and I really didn't see anything worthwhile. But I knew that my particular spot was okay here, so I decided to hit this spot this morning. Where I'm at is kind of give you a general layout of the land here. Sorry, I'm trying to talk really low so I don't scare anything away. But I've got what looks like 3 potential areas for deer to come in at. There's a valley down in here that crosses over and goes back in that way, and it's really thick in both places. And when I was checking this out for the first time, I don't know if you're going to be able to see it, but it looked like there was a fair amount of animal traffic in and out around that general area. So I thought that this made a decent spot to start looking or hanging out. And of course I've got the trail coming in this way, but I really can't see anything. I'm about a mile from my car, and the only thing that I've seen so far is a woodpecker come out of a hole in a tree over there, and a couple of really annoying squirrels. I was sitting here for a little while, and all of a sudden I start hearing things over my right shoulder, things hitting the leaves. I'm thinking, all right, it's starting to rain, but I'm looking around and I'm not seeing any other leaves moving. I'm not hearing raindrops anywhere, only just over my shoulder. So I look a little bit closer, and there's a squirrel way up in the tree eating something. It's dropping it all over the place. It's making all kinds of noise against the leaves. And he moved across, and next thing I know, he's over top of me, like directly over top of me. I'm being rained on by like pieces of walnut, different pieces of nut. They're bouncing off my head, bouncing off my bow, clanging against my tree stand. I would have loved to have had a shotgun, but there was just nothing I could do but just sit here. And I just kind of sat and watched some more. And so far, I'm seeing nothing. Every once in a while, I hear a crash out in the woods. I don't know whether it's walnuts coming down or some animals moving around, but I haven't seen anything yet. Now, it was probably a really bad decision to come over here. Just kind of picking a spot based on what may or may not be animal traffic coming in and out of the woods. But one of the better things about this side of the lake is that it's got a lot less human traffic. No one has come by. I can hear cars way off in the distance, but that's about it. The other side of the lake, I was bumping into people that were using the trails for horseback riding, just out walking, jogging, walking dogs. And it seemed like every single time I went out, I was running into someone. Over here, it seems a lot quieter. And, there seems to be a lot more animal life. It seems as though I hear more birds. I see more squirrels. I've seen a couple of rabbits. So it seems as though this area is less disturbed and better off in general if I could just find the food source. But I really haven't had time to scout this out too much. So I'm kind of going at this blind, throwing caution to the wind, going at this against the grain with everything I've learned so far, and just kind of picked a spot. And then, what do you know, I get here. What's kind of funny, I pulled into the parking lot, the parking area at it was around 4:30. So I'm getting dressed in the dark. It's like pitch black out. And I get everything together. I throw the tree stand on my shoulders, which seemed pretty light when I bought it, and seemed pretty light at the time. But it's amazing how heavy it is after a mile. All this time I've been doing scouting. Walking 1, 2, 3, 4, sometimes 5 miles around the woods, and I've never thought of it as a big deal. It's always been fairly easy for me to do, but trying to do it with a tree stand and a backpack and a bow and a flashlight, it's a lot of work. By the time I got in here, my shoulders ached. I just wanted to drop the pack and be done with it. And it's amazing because I wound up finding a used Summit Viper tree stand on Craigslist, which was kind of a creepy situation, but I bought it anyway. Or it was kind of a creepy situation, but I went to meet the guy anyway. But I was thinking about buying a Classic, which is a 27-pound steel unit, and I thought, what's 7 pounds? If I go with the aluminum, it's 20 pounds instead of 27. Maybe I'll just buy new. And I eventually wound up spending less for the aluminum model, so I bought it, and it's a really good thing I did, because it's amazing how heavy these things get after walking so far into the woods. But the only thing I've seen so far and been able to kill is mosquitoes. They're everywhere. I need to reevaluate my mosquito repellent. Right now I've got nothing on. I should probably get some DEET or something like that. But as I said, I've been here about 3 hours. I'm probably going to be here at least another 2. I've got some stuff going on this afternoon, so I can't do an entire day, and I can't come back in the evening. So this is kind of what it is for today. If the weather cooperates and it's not raining too heavily on Friday, I may come out here again Friday morning. I was able to manage some very short notice vacation time from work, so that was kind of a plus. One other thing that killed me, I got everything together. I got my pack packed into my tree stand. I'm heading out. I get here. I get up the tree. I've got everything situated. I got my pack tied off to the tree stand. My bow's ready to go. I knock an arrow, and then I go to reach for my release. I left it in the car. Not only did I leave my release in the car, I left my backup release in the car, because I had a feeling that one day I'd forget my release, and I wanted to put a spare in my backpack and just keep it there all the time. It never made it from my car to my backpack in the first place. So now I have 2 releases in my car, and I've got nothing. So even if I see anything, I can't shoot it, or I wouldn't even consider shooting it unless it was like right under the stand at 10 yards away. So this has become kind of a scouting mission. I'm just looking around and hoping to see some deer movement so that I know where to refine my stand selection to. But so far we're off to a decent start. It's been enjoyable. A little bit of rain. It's a little bit colder than I thought. It was warmer. It's cooled down since 4:30, which is kind of odd. The wind direction has been changing a lot. I don't know whether it's because of the way the land is oriented or what, but my back is against the hill for the most part. It goes up and then levels off. There's some power lines that run through, and there's a lot of little valleys. When I got here, the wind was pretty much in my face, blowing back up over the hill, which is where I wanted it to go. And after sitting a little while, the wind direction changed and was coming sort of down the trail. And then a little while later, it was coming back from behind me, and it's been kind of a mess. It's been very unpredictable. It's starting to rain. It's been raining a little off and on. Not a big deal as long as I don't get soaked. I'm planning on staying out here. So, unless a deer comes, directly under my stand 10 yards away, I don't think we'll be shooting anything today, just watching. So, that's where we're at. Alright, well, it's been about an hour since I turned the camera off, maybe a little bit more. So I've been sitting and watching for about 4.5 hours now, probably closer to 4.5, and decided that I think I'm going to get down. Even though it's still kind of early, I'm going to get down, I'm going to take all my gear back to my car, then I'm going to come back out, and I'm going to scout around a little bit more. I haven't seen anything, heard anything. It's been kind of nice just hanging out and enjoying the sights and sounds of nature, but I want to be a little bit more productive, and since I forgot my release back in my car, there's really nothing I can do, even if I do see a deer. So the plan now, I've spent a little bit of time looking at some area maps. There's another spot I want to check out. So I want to take my gear back to my car, do a little bit of scouting. It seems as though the woods are quiet, no one's walked by. When I get back out to my car, I'll know whether or not other hunters are in the area, and hopefully no one else is here, and I can do a little bit of digging around without disturbing anyone. But I definitely want to do a little bit of looking around and turn this into a little bit of a productive day. It's been an enjoyable morning, but I want it to be a little bit more productive as far as a hunting standpoint goes. So I've got all my gear lowered. It's just a matter of getting the tree stand down and packed up and heading back. Well, I dragged my ridiculously heavy climber back to my car, and I'm back in the woods again to just do a little scouting and see if I can make something worthwhile out of today. And I went down past where my spot was, and on the way in I saw a guy walking 2 German Shepherds. So he's the first person I've seen on this side of the lake, and I let him. He was actually headed right towards my stand, so I kept walking. Wanted to check out down around the area that I'm in now, and there was a break in the brush, and it looked like a really easy way to get into the woods. And before I could even take one step in, I saw someone's ladder stand. So I'm not sure whether that's a good sign or a bad sign. I'm going to take it as I should be somewhere else. So I'm going to look around a little bit more, and I'm not seeing anything in this area for me. It's nice and open, but I just don't think there's anything here for me. So I'm going to look elsewhere. Well, we are getting towards the end of my little scouting expedition. I think I'm going to wrap it up really soon. I backed out of where I found that ladder stand, and I went back down around to where I was set up this morning, and I just kind of went in both ways. I was expecting deer to potentially come through, and the first direction I went is just nothing, and I crossed the little path and went the other way, and nothing. Probably the most stressed out I've been over this entire this entire hobby, I guess you can call it. I don't know what the food source is. I can't find any. The only oaks I found were over where that ladder stand was. I haven't seen anything since, so I don't know what the primary food source is. I don't know what the alternative food sources are. I'm just drawing a complete blank on this side of the lake. I can't wrap my head around how this works over here. I hear there are more deer on this side, but I can't put it all together. I don't understand what they're eating, where they're going, where they're traveling. I mean, I'm in a valley. It makes sense for them to travel right down this valley. You've got thick brush over there. Looks like there's a fairly steep rise over there. This goes for quite a ways in both directions, so it makes sense for them to travel down here. But then again, I don't know. They could be skimming along the top, if they're even over here at all. I think I'm going to poke around just a little bit more, and then I'm going to call it a day. Well, I'm just about back to my car now. And I did a little bit more poking around, and just more of the same. Nothing. Just completely and utterly skunked the first time out. It's getting kind of late, but I think I might be able to run over to the other side of the lake and double check on that tree that I was worried about. At least there, at least maybe I'll be able to see the deer feeding in the field, and that'll give me a general direction of where I need to adjust. Here it was just no sign. I don't know what the food source is, and I didn't see anything. So there was just too many factors against me today. I still like the area. I don't know that I'm right, but I like the layout of that particular area. So who knows, if I jump over the other side of the lake and things are as bad as I think they might be, in terms of that tree that I selected being partially dead, maybe I'll come back here on Friday. Not quite sure yet. I don't know if I make it over there. I'll be back with more. If not, then that's going to be the end of the video. So thanks for watching. Any advice you've got, this is greatly appreciated. Until next time, take it easy. Well, I had a little bit of time, so I ran over to the other side of the lake, double-checked that spot, and sure enough, the tree is alive and well. Just a couple of dead branches down toward the base that I'll need to cut off, and once they're out of the way, I should be good to go. So maybe I'll be back here on Friday. One of the things I was really curious about, this is the first time I've been back to this side of the lake since hunting season opened, and seeing this, I'm not quite sure what that is. White rock. Actually, if you look down in there, there's a couple more. I don't know whether there's some sort of marker to remind someone where their stand is, but it's like the third time I've seen them, and I'm not seeing a stand when I just kind of stand back and look in. But I imagine it could be a climber as well. So there is my little hunting/scouting trip, and I need to go home and grab lunch and get ready to go out again. So, well, not hunting, other stuff, but at any rate, thanks for watching. Any advice you can provide would be greatly appreciated.